So today we're going to talk about how to play Fade like a pro. We are returning to the series of 3 tips for each agent that I think will really help you overall expand your gameplay on these agents. And today we take a look at Fade. Now Fade, of course, is an extremely powerful agent, but I do think there are some crucial things that you need to know to play Fade at a higher level. And the first one, and this really is very, very important, and I think by far and away the most important thing about Fade, is you need to know lineups. And I don't just mean like, oh, you need a lineup for each site or a lineup here and there. Ideally, you need to know multiple lineups for each place you want to put a Fade Haunt and know different spots that are good to put them in so that your opponent is just kept off guard a ton of times. Here's one from Crashies that is really, really cool, where you stand here in Heaven on Haven and aim it through the wall, and it somehow goes through, and we'll see here as we play it forward. It's gonna like land on the top of like a pillar outside. I have no idea how they even found that lineup, to be honest, but it's pretty cool. It's not this one. He just threw it just there, and so now it comes up here. And you'll see that it will, catch Sadak there, because it's in just such an awkward place. And he throws it through the wall as well, and so I just thought that was a cool lineup that was worth showing you, because it's I have honestly no idea how it even gets there. But here's another good example for you from Benkai from Paper Rex. Many of you might recognize this clip because it's pretty sick. So what Benkai is going to do here, crucial round, last round of a 12-11 game. If Paper Rex win this, they win the map. And what he's gone and done is he's thrown a Fade Haunt there, and you'll see that this Fade Haunt is going to land just on top of the wall there. Little smoke on top here. Jing goes for the blast bags, gets up here, and look at this, right? 3 of them are revealed, and this is the crucial thing, right? That if Benkai had been doing this the whole time and this Fade Haunt is always there, someone from Fnatic would probably be ready to shoot it, but he waits until round 24 to use this lineup that he has in his back pocket to do this play with Jing, and it actually wins them the game. Like this play here, this one lineup that they knew literally won them the game. And the fact that Benkai can have a ton of different lineups, this is what you need to be doing as well. Now obviously, are you going to be doing crazy stuff like this? Probably not, but having a ton of different lineups, and getting them into good positions, your Fade level is just going to go up so much if you just put the time in to learn those lineups. Of course, there's a ton of videos with decent lineups. You can watch pro games and, learn quite a few different Fade lineups. Everyone's playing Fade at the moment, so, you can pick them up from that as well. So, it will take time. You'll have to put the time in, but I think the rewards are worth it because it can literally win you games like that Fade lineup there did for Paper Rex. The second thing that I think is important is understanding when to use which bit of your utility when you're playing Fade, specifically talking about Prowler versus Fade Haunt. And we're going to take a look at one specific example of use of a Fade Haunt that I think is just extremely effective, and probably you aren't doing right now, but you probably should be doing it instead. So on the attacking side, when we're using Fade, you'll normally throw out a Fade Haunt to start a round, right? Like that is just kind of a normal thing to do, and that is absolutely fine. And then afterwards, you'll get one back later on in the round, and maybe, you could Prowler some areas as well, and that's all well and dandy. But it's on the defensive side that I think we need to take a look at a clip from FPX and Shao. Because if we come and take a look at the infamous turret game that they had against Xset, it is round 30. It's like 4 in the morning or whatever. It's 15-14 to FPX, and Shao here is on the defensive side, and this is for the game, and he's going to throw 2 Fade Haunts that get him 2 kills, which is pretty miraculous, right? And what I want you to see is, unlike on the attacking side, where, yeah, sure, on the attacking side, you'll throw a Fade Haunt at the very start, and that's fine. Shao is not going to throw a Fade Haunt at the start of this round. He's going to keep it, and you'll see why he wants to keep it, because he's just going to jump peek here in mid, and Xset eventually are just going to, group up, and they're going to come to B, and they're just going to go for a B exec. That's what they're going to go for, right? So there's Shao. You see he's just jumping in. Now he sends out a Prowler, right? Still hasn't used a Fade Haunt. We're a good 20 seconds into the round at this point. Still hasn't used it, right? Xset eventually are going to come towards B. Artist is going to miss that shot there on Cryo, and up goes a Sage Wall, and, Xset, they're going to start this B exec. They get ready to go in. They send in their Silver Dart, reveals 2. Actually sends in the C's there to try and stop them, Shao. But now this is what we're here for, right? Again, probably another lineup that he has just there that he's going to send out as Xset are coming in onto the site. And what's going to happen is Crow's going to come out of this smoke. The Fade Haunt goes up. He gets revealed. And look who's standing here, Zipan, who's going to get a nice easy kill on someone who is revealed. So that is how he used the Fade Haunt there. And that is a very important thing to note, because a Prowler can't do that. right? A Prowler can't punish someone for coming in. You might blind them and you might, kind of know where they are, but you're not probably gonna get a free kill from a smoke like you can from a Fade Horn. And you just saw there that, that essentially, that one bit of utility is as good as a kill. Like, if you can get a bit of utility that's as good as a kill, that is extremely, extremely powerful. And I can bet in your ranked games that, a lot of just like, let's group up and go A or B is happening quite often. Right, so saving your Fade Horn, for a situation like that where you can just send it, somewhere like this, and as people are coming onto the site, they get revealed, and then if you're sitting in a smoke here or your teammate is, you can just spam them straight away because you know exactly where they are. Extremely powerful. But then, as we run the round forward, this is going to actually happen again. Because Xset, they kind of get stuck, right? After they lose that kill there, they kind of get stuck on the site. They don't really know, potentially where to go. They know that there's obviously two people deeper onto the site in this Sage and Jet as well. So, they kind of don't want to push it just yet. They want to wait for this, their utility to kind of recharge their Sova Dart and whatever, and, go in off the back of that. So you can see they just kind of sit and wait, and we just sit here for a while, right? And it's kind of awkward, and it's kind of just like, yeah, we know you're all there, yeah. We're all here, yeah, we're all just kind of waiting. And so eventually they wait for this Sova Dart, right, and they're going to try and come in onto the site off the back of this utility. But unfortunately for them, of course, the time has also passed for Shao to go and get another Fade Horn. So that is what's going to happen, where as this dart starts to come in, our friend Shao here, he's going to start to feel that the pressure comes in. He's going to throw another Fade Horn, and oh, look at this. Again, we get the reveals, and off the back of it, Shao's going to manage to kill Def there as well. So he basically gets 2 kills and basically wins them this round. I mean, it does start to go Xset's way a bit here, but because he got those 2 kills, he literally allowed them to win this round. Off the back of 2 Fade Haunts, he got 2 kills with them. And so I think this is just a really effective way of using your Fade Haunts, is waiting for your opponents to actually come in, as they're executing onto a site, then throw up a Fade Horn, on some high angle that lands on, somewhere high up, and that they can't, they'd have to turn around and go back and look up at the sky for. They get revealed, you just sit in a smoke or whatever, spam them through the smoke, get a couple free kills, and win rounds easily. And then my final tip for you here on Fade is understanding good timing to use the ult, and really using that deafen tool to your advantage. When Fade first came out, I think we saw the Fade ult be a bit underwhelming, and I think it's because people weren't using it perhaps as well as they could have. But then as, more and more people have got more familiar with Fade, we've seen the use of these Fade ults be even better. So what's happened here is Optic have just got the spike down. It's a 4v4, and, Crashies has just got his ult from planting the spike. But if we take a look at the map, something very odd is going on. You've got 3 of the Optic players here, and Xset are, on their rotating across. But Ye is all the way over here, right? He's all the way over on B. He's on the literal opposite end of the map. The suppress comes in, and Crashy is realizing the situation. I think that's a really good decision by him here, because he knows he has that ult, and because he knows where Ye is. He actually decides to retreat, because in this situation, you just want to play time for your guy who's probably going to get at least 1 free kill. But he's going to also help Ye out by using the Fade ult as well. And actually, initially, he thought when he was sitting there on site, his animation kind of came up that he wanted to use it then, but he declined. And you see, he's just waiting to use it here, Crashies. And eventually, he pops it, just in this situation where Ye is, kind of within striking range, right? Where Ye is kind of getting close now. And now the ult comes in. He knows that they're probably on the site. It marks 3 players. And now Ye can get on his bike, right? He can get going now. And you see, Ye's going to come behind them. They can't hear him. He's literally running behind them and, gets 1 kill. They don't know where that kill's come from either. He gets 2 kills. He literally wins them the round, and Cryo has to go and save. And that ult, won them the round. But had Crashies used that ult, when he initially thought about it, when he was kind of just planting the spike, they might not have won that round, right? Ye still would have been very far away. And so you need to be thinking about this ult in situations like that. Very, very effective use of it. Every decision Crashy's made there to 1, play safe, come back, and kind of wait and stall, because Ye is the win condition of that round. Then using the ult to enable that win condition even more of Ye, basically those decisions did win them that round. And then finally, let's just look at this clip, because it's really cool, from Shao, where he's going to use the ult. He actually is planning the spike, just manages to avoid that breach ult somehow. And now just take a look at the way he plays this, right? And again, just using that deafen to his advantage. And as I said, when Fade first came out, and the first couple times we saw Fade, I think, the Fade usage of the ult was fine. But you see, he sends it there. He actually walks a bit here, which I find really interesting as well. I mean, the movement here is just so clever, right? So let's just come back and watch this again. So he sends out the ult, right? And then he runs. And he's running at this point because obviously the sound of the ult is going off, right? So you can't really hear the footsteps at this point. But then he walks again. And he walks, and you might think, well, aren't they deafened at this point? But he doesn't know if they've been caught by it or not yet. And so he's kind of waiting, for that moment. So he walks to the door, waits till it says, Mark 2 or whatever, then comes through the door, knowing that they can't hear. And then he does that. I mean, just everything he did there was just insane. Just insane, right? Just a really cool clip. But I think in general, again, knowing how to use the fatal, particularly on certain maps like Fracture, where you can open that door if people are ulted, right? And they won't know. Very, very clever from Shao in this instance. And I think using your ult and finding the right situations, where you can abuse the fact that your opponents are deafened, that is when the high value fade ults come from, when you can abuse that fact that they can't hear what's going on at all.